If I'd grown up in a small market town near Southampton 100 years ago, I'd have ended up as a butcher. My family had been in that trade in that town for generations. There is still a butcher's shop there with my surname tiled on the wall. 100 years ago, that's who I would have been. Born the butcher's son, destined to be the butcher, and retired after a lifetime of being the butcher. But that's not who I am. Who am I? I've got an Irish mum, an English dad, and I was born in France. That is already a lot of identity going on. Add to that some standard insecurities. I wasn't as popular at school as I wished I was. I didn't win many races, and I still haven't. And depending on how well you know me, those things could be part of how you would describe me. Who am I? Who are you? We all carry around stories about who we are. And as parents, we wonder about the stories our kids are telling themselves. Who will they say they are? So, in this video, we're thinking about identity. After a 5-year project, working with families and churches, we at Faith in Kids have come to celebrate this truth that keeps on rising to the surface. Christianity is about identity. And identity always comes first, before behaviour, even before belief, and certainly before what we do on a Sunday. Because God, our Creator, says who we are. Whether we're listening to Him or not, whether we feel it or not, whether we've figured it out or not, He says who we are. There is a verse that I have come to love. It is 1 John 3, verse 1. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. Who are we? Children of God. That is who we are. Isn't that incredible? That's not something we earn or prove, it's something we receive. The Christian story, the good news, is that anyone who trusts in Jesus, who turns to Him, who believes, becomes a child of God. It's like the parable of the lost son. The moment that son came home, his father's arms were already wide open. That's what God does. That is who He is. He says, you're home. You are mine. You belong. You are safe. You are a child of God. And that truth is not about being religious enough or finally getting life in order. It's a decision that God makes, and He declares it over you, whether it happened last week, last year, or when you were very, very little. If you remember only one thing, I hope it's this. As Christian parents, grandparents, or kids leaders, we have the joy and the mission of helping children grasp this truth. You can be a child of God. There is no greater identity. That is an identity to build their life on. They might not feel any different. They probably won't win more friends or get more certificates. But Jesus says, this is life to the full. Let me tell you a story. This is a photo of my colleague, Amy. She and her husband, Steve, adopted 4 children in 2 years. The Smith family went from 0 to 4 kids, head-spinning stuff, with an absolutely enormous pushchair. One day, they went to the courthouse to finalise, to legalise the adoption, and the judge, a brilliant guy, made it unforgettable. The kids tried on his wig, banged his gavel, climbed over the benches, signed laminated forms, took selfies. It was a celebration. As the kids were running out with their lollipops, the judge pulled Amy and Steve aside. He said, I make such a fuss of this because one day, at least one of your children will ask you, am I really a Smith? Are you really my mum? Tomorrow, will you still be my dad? And Amy, if she was here, she would absolutely want to say to you, those days have come, far more than she wishes. But that judge wanted them to be able to say, you are a Smith. And do you remember that day with the wig and the gavel in the courtroom? That says so. That makes it certain. It doesn't matter how you feel, it will never change. And that's what our Heavenly Father says to us. You are my child. You probably know that adoption is a Bible word. It means those who were far off have become children of God. Even when you feel angry, when you've messed up, when you doubt it, when it doesn't feel real, whatever you have done, you are still His. That identity is the foundation we walk on. As a parent, I find this a huge relief because I get it wrong, often. But I can still say to my children, this is who you are. And when I fail, I point them to the Father in heaven who never will. Now, if you're watching this and you feel that guilt, that heaviness that parents so often carry, you are not alone. Most of us walk into these conversations thinking, I am not doing enough. This isn't about loading on guilt. It's about lifting it. Because our identity and our children's identity, it doesn't rest on performance. It rests on God's promise. Let's lift our eyes to that truth. And just one more detail. I used to be an engineer, so I can't resist a moment of data. This chart comes from a 2017 survey of UK Christians, Bible reading, church going, the really good kind. 40% say they came to faith before the age of 5. Half say before the end of primary school, and 3/4 of the UK church say they became Christians before the end of secondary school. That's my story. I don't remember a time before faith. My dad prayed with me before bed. My mum talked for ages about God. There was a prayer at the end of it. Faith grew quietly. We just went to church. It happened. One time, as I was showing this data to a group of parents, a mum timidly put up her hand. If my 4-year-old is a Christian, how would I know? She was worried. It was written across her face. Her child couldn't explain the gospel in 6 diagrams or name all the books of the Bible in order. But faith doesn't usually show up like that at 4. Most of us only see it when we look back. So thank God for the parents who just kept telling the old story, for grandparents who prayed, for kids leaders who just kept showing up, and for churches that surrounded these families. This is where faith takes root. It's in the kitchens, it's in the cars, it's in the bedtime routines, it's in the conversations, it's in the tears, it's in the noise, and it's in the mess, and it is in the endless request for snacks. It's the holy ground where ministry is happening. That's where children discover who they are. Not just children of mum or dad, children of God.